We came to New Zealand to play basketball to prove ourselves, but I quickly learned this trip was going to be about more than just the game. This was about faith, brotherhood, and the moments that we would change our lives forever. Walking onto that court, I feel it, the weight of the moment. I wasn't just playing for myself, I was playing for the people back home who believed in me, for everyone who sacrificed so I could be here. The first half, it was a battle, physical, fast, every possession mattered. We fought for every rebound, every shot. It wasn't easy, but we were holding our own. I was locked in, pushing harder, switch every play. And then halftime. That's when everything shifted. It wasn't about strategy or adjustments. It was about something much deeper. Our teammate, Dallas Cameron, stood up and shared his testimony. Story of his struggle, pain, and how his faith carried him through. The second half felt different. It wasn't about stats or proving ourselves to anyone. It was about playing with purpose, playing for something bigger than the game, playing for the story that each of us carried. After the game, the energy shifted. Again, we weren't here just to compete. We were here to experience, to connect, to take in the beauty of this country. So we took off, exploring the cliffs, chasing waterfalls, and finding peace in the middle of this wild journey. As you can see, the beautiful coastlines and from the views we had from the top of the hill. After the game, we had a chance to actually get out and hike and see the coastline, the beach, and then we got ready for this hike. At the beginning of the hike, I didn't really know where we were going. I wasn't honestly that big into hikes at this point in my life, being from Indiana. My boy Everett right here. We don't hike much, but it was a great experience. You know, we got it started. It was in, granted, it's winter time in New Zealand, so that's why most of you see us in sweatpants, because it was a little brisk. It wasn't a hot summer day in Auckland. But it was great, beautiful, beautiful scenery, beautiful country. And just take a look at the vibes. Please forgive my angles. It was the first time using a GoPro, but it was definitely a good time. We got a chance to really, fellowship with all the guys along the trip, and it was a dope experience. One of the things I remember too when I was there, I wasn't prepared for, was a hike through the mud. I did wear some all white and Air Maxes that I had to clean up after that day, but it was definitely worth it. We made it through the hike. It was the hike was about in total a little over an hour. I chopped it and went through a few pieces right here for y'all, so y'all wouldn't have to go through all of it with me, but I wanted y'all to see it's a very tropical, island with a lot of different trees and waterfalls and everything, as you're gonna see when we get towards this end of the hike. But it was great. It wasn't crazy hot or humid there, and it was definitely a great experience. We were definitely getting our steps in, having a good time. As you can see, we was chopping it up the entire way, learning a little bit about the culture. As granted, this was one of the first few days while we were there on the North Island in Auckland, and it was just beautiful to see. This is the first taste of travel that I'd ever had internationally, and I was just taking it all in. I look back at myself, man, I was young and had a lot more to learn, but this was a great experience, man. Shout out to Athletes in Action. And I challenge you guys to get out of your comfort zones as well and do things you've never done before. Actually do something with a purpose. So this whole trip was really centered around faith. It wasn't just about the game of basketball, as that was the premise of what we were doing, but we were here to really grow as men. With all the different levels of believers on the team, it was a great experience for all of us, as we were all growing in our faith, growing closer to God, and being just better people overall. So it was definitely something I look back at that really opened my eyes, because technically we were missionaries, right? I'd never been a missionary before. And this was the first time we were actually able to share our testimony, share our stories in foreign lands. I would love to hear in the comments too. Would you guys take on this hike? Would you guys want to see this for yourself in person? Was this something you guys want to check out? So I know I really enjoyed it. And the guys were all, man, we all had a good time. Cracking jokes, sharing stories. And it did get a little hot. So, you know, we was actually working. You can tell I had to take off the jacket for a second, because I started to get a little overheated. Because when we started getting to the top, or the bottom per se, the end of the route, it started to heat up a little bit more. When we first got there, it was a little brisk, the wind was blowing, but once you got to the inside of towards the waterfalls, you can see it right there. We're in the midst of the, let's say, wilderness or the jungle, however you want to call it. And look at that, look how beautiful that was. Should have wore better shoes that day. Did not have on hiking boots. I remember standing there, staring at the waterfall, thinking about how far I'd come. From a kid dreaming of playing overseas to actually living it. And in this moment, I realized something. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about finding myself, my purpose, and appreciating the journey God put me on. Like I said, I didn't bring the right shoes. I had to take off my socks and my shoes so I wouldn't get them drenched wet when I was walking through all that water. So next time I do plan to do a hike like this in New Zealand, please bring your shoes. Please bring hiking boots that are waterproof. I was not prepared for this, but it is what it is. I was just trying to make sure I didn't bust my head falling down there, especially when I was going barefoot. Me and my boy Boona.
Thank you.
That's Timo. Yeah, we all had to get in the water. You know what I mean? Like, it was cold, but hey, how many times do you get a chance to get in the water, a waterfall in New Zealand? So we decided we're gonna take full advantage of it. And just like that, we were heading back out, back up the mountain.
I am happy to be in New Zealand.
This is one of the funnest parts of the journey, the climb. That day taught me something. The moments that change us the most don't always happen under the bright lights. Sometimes they happen when we're still, when we take a breath and realize how far we've come. And here we headed to the beach, where this is a black sand beach, where all the sand is a darker charcoal color due to the volcanic, however you want to pronounce it, mixture between the sand and the volcanic ash that erupts from the nearby volcanoes in the region, which is pretty cool to say the least, because how many beaches you know have black sand? But the trip wasn't over yet. We still had more games to play, more lessons to learn, and more moments that would shape me forever. What happened next? I wasn't ready for it.